But since we're on the NXT talk, and since we didn't really do a show this week, Matt, just your general overall thoughts.
I'm not gonna remember
on, or no, basically
general thoughts.
Yeah, just your general thoughts on.
I think it was I think it was a good show. They really, like I mentioned before, they built 2 high profile matches for the next, I believe, 2 weeks. Next week is triple threat for the
July 1st and July 8th are going to be really big weeks for both shows there. Yeah.
Was it July?
Yeah, it's
next week, July 1st.
No,
June 24th, and then June 8th. I think it's 2 weeks
apart. Next Wednesday it's going to be
triple threat for for North American. That's the 24th.
Yeah, and
then they said on the 8th. So there's a week gap between the winner take all, I think.
It's a first for because
yeah, but they said the 8th on TV.
Okay, yeah.
I'm pretty sure they said the 8th.
Okay, yeah.
So I think there's like that gap, week build to that winner take all match, which is fine. So they had that, and I think that the North American one is Keith Lee, Gargano, and Balor, and then the winner of that faces Cole for both titles.
Yeah.
So that was good. Cross had they did a little backstage. Nobody didn't speak. It was basically just saw his foot because Keith Lee smashed the sandglass backstage with Cole, and then later there was that black and white shot of Scarlett coming over, grabbing a bunch of sand, and then Cross coming over with his foot and they stepping on glass and cracking it. Nothing was said, but it was just great how
it's like I said, him versus Keith Lee is by far the biggest match that they can do right now. It's like that. Like if that thing does not do a good rating, then I don't know what's going to do a good rating for NXT. Then that's a giant match right there.
Yeah. You just have the diehards for AEW. Like I don't know. I don't see things. I would like to know how many people actually watch NXT later after they watch AEW or vice versa. That's what I want to know, but I don't know if we're ever going to find that out.
Honestly, because it's pretty much the same exact fan base, and that's kind of the problem right now. And I think that's kind of what Vince sees. It's like, okay, we're basically chopping a core fan base right in half. Like that's not going to exactly grow. And his whole thing is we need to bring in other fans, which that has been the problem.
They got
for
the
both
older demographic compared to
50
AEW.
and over, yeah, 50 and over. They're
like 35 plus, whatever.
Yep.
It's probably the younger one. The
18 to 249.
It's the hip new thing that everybody. It's not WWE, so it was like, I'm gonna go watch AEW. But besides that,
how was Sasha?
Oh yes.
And Bayley?
It was I enjoyed the match. It was a good match. The fan person in me wanted Shotzi and Tegan to knock them off, but
yeah, I was kind of hoping for that too.
That didn't happen. So Sasha and Bayley retained the women's tag team titles.
And I also heard too. Didn't Io
came out? Yeah, Io front too. So I'm like, oh, okay. I'm interested to see what that's going on because you won't do that. You're not going to do that for nothing.
No,
that'd be pointless.
No.
I hope to God not. So that's,
I mean, Io versus Sasha, take my money.
Take my 2 hours. Whatever.
I'm trying to think of other matches. Just with WWE, that's probably the best one that you could do right now. Is Io versus Sasha right now? That I can think of.
If you're bringing in main roster,
yeah. I'm struggling to think of what's maybe a better match right now than. I mean, like maybe Sasha versus Bianca. That would probably be pretty damn good too. But
it's still one. That's main roster.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah. I mean, just currently right now.
I think you can do maybe a Sasha and a Ripley. I wouldn't be opposed to that.
It's just with a Ripley, it's just she's just so stale right now. She's like lost so much steam. It's like
Bianca hasn't appeared on Raw.
Yeah,
I don't care about. I'm not talking about the steam.
Okay.
I'm just talking about.
If we're just talking
strictly talent versus talent. Regardless of steam, you can build it back up. I don't care. So, yeah, that's pretty much what off the top of my head.
Okay. Well, as far as Dynamite, it was a pretty solid show this week. And we pretty much have the complete card for Fyre Fest, which is in 2 weeks. Which, as of now, off the top of my head, we have Brian Cage versus Moxley, Cody versus Jake Hager, Orange Cassidy versus Chris Jericho, Best Friends versus Kenny and Hangman, and for some reason Penelope Ford versus Hikaru Shida. I have very low expectations for that, by the way. And those were pretty much the exact like main ones, but one good match I'm really am looking forward to for next week's Dynamite, Matt. Wardlow versus Luchasaurus. My God, that is going to be amazing.
I kind of want to see that.
I cannot wait to see that.
I hope they do it good.
And I mean, it can't be said enough. Anything involving Jungle Boy and MJF, it's just gold. Like, there's just such a natural rivalry there, Matt, that like it's just with their like intensity and everything, and it really does feel like that they're probably setting up to a tag team match between MJF and like Wardlow versus Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus at Fyre Fest. I would expect that's probably going to be made official next week. So yeah, you got that. And also this past week you had Cody's open challenge for the TNT title, which came in a new and a debuting Ricky Starks, who was formerly in the NWA and who was their TV champion too, I believe. And Tony Khan confirmed after Dynamite went off of the air that he has that he has officially signed as well. As far as him from a talent perspective, he can really talk, really talk, and had a pretty good match with Cody. I just don't know where he exactly fits in, and hopefully we will kind of figure that out. And recall when I told you don't switch over to Dynamite?
Oh Jesus, I did, because like you piqued my interest.
I was like, who the hell is this Abaddon girl who was pretty much a freaking zombie? Or
I'll give her this. She's committed.
She definitely stands out. I mean, give her that.
I was
just like, what?
I read. I just went. What did I text you? I gotta find it.
You were like, what the fuck? I'm pretty sure it is what you said, or something along those lines.
Okay, no, that was. Nope. Okay, nope.
I forget, but
it's on. It's I don't know. Oh, what the?
Yep. I was right. So he said that, and I was like, yeah. And I was pissed too, because I am a huge Anna Jay fan. For one, she is hot as hell. Number two, she had a pretty good showing when she faced Hikaru Shida. I think that was back in like March.
I totally forgot about her.
So I was a pretty big fan of hers, and she got squashed.
Yeah,
and what was worse, she's apparently might be joined the Dark Order. I'm like, no. Like, are you trying to bury her?
What's the Dark Order's purpose?
Basically a cult who pretty much
It's just like every
who pretty
week.
much brings up anyone who's on any sort of a small losing streak, and they gave Colt a freaking application.
Here's your application. Here's your application.
Yeah, and
what code has an application? I saw that one.
Yeah,
what they done?
and I believe
Can you give me some letters of recommendation?
Yeah.
A cover letter and a resume and a letter of intent. Saying I would like to get my brainwashed.
Yeah, and I believe he's tagging with Brody for next week's show. I forget who they're facing, but he's involved in a tag team match. So there's that. I'm trying to figure out. Oh yeah, and you had Jericho and Sam Guevara versus Best Friends, which it was okay. Nothing really too special. But earlier, and
Best Friends get the win. Did I remember that wrong?
I believe that they did. I can't recall. But
They pinned Sammy.
Yeah,
I hope.
Yeah. I mean, if they did win, they definitely pinned Sammy. Jericho, he ain't getting pinned. Jericho only gets pinned when it's absolutely necessary. And I believe outside of like Moxley and some like cheap and some like cheap roll up,
I
no,
would have lost my mind.
No, well, especially too when he's gonna be he's.
You want him to look strong going in against Orange Cassidy. Let me tell you.
Well, first of all, he is not losing to Orange Cassidy.
If so help me God.
He's not losing. Although Orange Cassidy is going to be giving him hell. Actually no, now that I think of it, I think Jericho and Sammy won that match because or God, I can't recall, but
we don't pay attention if we don't have to talk about it. Right
yeah, I mean that's what happens when you don't.
I swear I saw it.
I can't recall, but
anywho.
But I will say though, Orange Cassidy has an awesome Superman punch. Roman Reigns could learn from Orange Cassidy how to do a Superman punch, and I'm waiting for you to give me the most plank and stupid look right now. If he's a
superhero movie, he's Fantastic Four. I won't go so much and say Green Lantern. I'm saying Fantastic Four.
So he's
wrong,
somehow
wrong.
He's Hal Jordan then, right?
Wrong. I don't even know Fantastic Four. Wrong company. Because Superman punch, I don't care.
It's an amazing Superman punch.
What the hell? You can't get Lois Lane. The hell?
Where's Lois?
No, he's not going to get Lois Lane. Yeah. Somebody help. Call the Orange Man. Come save me. There's a bunch of, I don't know. I was going to say there's a bunch of
freshly
pulp.
Squeezed.
There's a bunch of pulp. And pairs attacking. I don't know.
Pairs attacking.
I don't know. This is how stupid this conversation has made my IQ.
And speaking, did you hear anything about this segment with our role model Britt Baker? It was hilarious.
I heard some stuff. I didn't watch Dynamite this week. I just saw the Twitter stuff as
freaking Big Swole had like the worst impersonation of the Undertaker driving away. Do you recall when when he drove away in the hearse with Teddy Long?
Yes,
they were parodying that. So she was like, "Where to?"
Why? Wait, why is she? Wait.
Well, do you recall she with Baker? She's in her mobile there.
Yes.
So
I need the context here.
Yeah. So for some reason Rebel she wasn't there. And so in her place, Big Swole just kind of slides right in there, and she says where to and drives her off. And then like it was like a half an hour or so later, we find out Britt
in a dumpster.
in a dumpster, and she's pissed because earlier in the night she says to Shivani, we are on a friendship timeout right now. So she's screaming. She was like, "Where's Shivani? Call Shivani right now!" And she's just flipping out on like Rebel, and she was like, "Where were you?" She was like, "In the bathroom." She was in the bathroom apparently for a solid hour, and she's just flipping out, and it's just
she really had to go.
She really had to go, and like I'm just in tears at this point. I'm like, I love everything about Britt Baker. She's just so entertaining, and she was pulling this off tremendously. And honestly, I really want to see her versus Big Swole right now. Like, I cannot wait for that match right now.
It apparently has to happen, because why would Big Swole just handicap?
Where to? So
where to, Teddy?
Yeah, so and
Teddy with the fake.
And my sister's boyfriend, he was watching this. He was like, "What the hell is going on here?" I was like, I'm trying to explain this to him, and throughout the whole entire thing, I can't stop laughing because it's so hilarious. So yeah, that was Dynamite. I'm trying to think if I missed anything, but I think that pretty much covered everything. As I said, Firefest is in 2 weeks. Also, NXT is going to be having a pretty load show for when a Firefest. So
at least the winner take all match.
Which, from what I understand, with Firefest, it's gonna be pretty much treated as a pay-per-view. And supposedly, from that podcast that I watched from this morning, supposedly this was supposed to be exclusively on Bleacher Report, but apparently that changed at the very last second, sort of thing. Because I was thinking, so why do they have this deal with them and they're not gonna? I mean, outside of the pay-per-views, because if you recall last summer when they had Firefest, Fight for the Fallen, with those two shows, you would think, hey, they'll probably have those there, but supposedly TNT wants more exclusive shows, which you can completely understand, but I mean, like, I would not having minded that, but I completely understand because they want them to try and get closer and raise up with their viewership there. So we'll keep an eye on that.